Hey guys, welcome back to Sip with Joy. This is a show about a girl, her wine, and her feelings. And I am that girl. I am Joy M. Hutton, a serial entrepreneur and lover of food and wine. I'm just trying to get y'all over here from Instagram. Time flies during the day, okay? And look, y'all, it's been another season, another month. I mean, I've been gone for a whole month and I can't believe it. It's crazy, but I think it seemed longer because March was long. So I don't know if you all miss me as much as I miss you, but yeah, March was a long month, but it was good. It was a much needed break and I'm so glad to be back. So I'm just getting you guys over here on Instagram. Why do I always do this? I try to do better, y'all. I really do. So okay, here we go. But welcome back. I hope you guys missed me as much as I missed you. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it today. As I said, I'm your host, Joy M. Hutton. If this is your first time tuning in to Sip with Joy, today I am drinking a Merlot. And I like to think of Merlot as like a grown and sexy wine because it's so bold and so full-bodied. It's just sexy. So I got my satin on. I'm drinking my glass of Merlot today. And this is from South Africa. And you all know I love wines from South Africa. And I asked someone, what wine should I drink today? And so they said Merlot. And generally, I am not a fan of Merlot, but this is actually pretty good. So you'll find out more about this wine on the sip of the day. All right. Hey Elsie, hey Jess Lee, I missed you guys too. So yeah, drinking that. So speaking of grown and sexy, the topic today is dating over 40 be like. Okay, and we talked about dating is ghetto out here on a previous episode of Sip with Joy, but it really is a lot going on. And I'm just trying to figure out, where are we headed? So let's talk about it. And I want y'all to call in today, so don't be shy. And I got my audio situation fixed so you all can call in and everybody will be able to hear. So we in that thing. All right. So drop any questions. Hey Nita. Drop any questions that you have. I'll be looking at the chat. And also, when I open up the phone line, call, because I want to hear what you guys, who, especially if you're in my age group or older, what your experience has been with dating, because like I said, it's hard out here. So I want to talk about some of the challenges. I think some of the challenges that we face in this age group is that when you get to a certain point, a certain age, you have a very specific criteria for what you want. And this is for men and women. It's not just for women, but since I am a woman, I'm speaking from my perspective. But we have a very specific criteria for what we want when you get older. And so, your standards may be higher, and what that means is that you're going to then have your hands at a narrower pool, a narrower dating pool, and that makes it more difficult to find someone that you're compatible with. So, and I've experienced that, because the list just seems to get longer and longer about the things that you do or do not want from a person. And it makes it difficult. And then we all going for the same 5 people, and that's just not realistic. And then when you're also older, you may have experienced divorce, like myself. I've been through a divorce, or difficult breakups, because by this time, all of us have had one or another. But difficult breakups, and you may have trust issues or fear of being vulnerable. And I know I definitely fell in that pool in terms of being vulnerable. I was scared to be vulnerable again. And it really took a lot of healing. I talk about healing, therapy, all that, to be at a place where I felt like I could be vulnerable again. Because, yeah, you are scared. You're like, I have my heart broken. I don't want to open myself up to that again. and it takes some time. Okay, so when you go through a lot, you're like, whoo, I'm not ready to be heartbroken again. And nobody wants to be heartbroken, but especially, I mean, if you ain't had your heart just screwed and just stepped on and chewed up and spit out, you're not ready for that type of trauma again. So I definitely can relate to being in that space, about being vulnerable again. And so you have to be honest about where you are. Hey mommy, hey Robin, all my peoples, they here today. And then you have society putting pressure on you about what you should be doing at a certain age. So this causes anxiety or pressures you into settling. And I don't feel pressured into settling because I'm just been there, done that. I'm not doing it again. But some people really do feel pressured, and so they end up, he's nice. Well, I'm sorry. Nice ain't gonna cut it. I need more than nice. I need to actually be attracted to you. And I'm not saying you gotta be fine, but I gotta look at you every day, so I don't believe in settling just because you're at a certain age or you want to have kids. There are other options. There are other alternatives to explore, but people may get pressured. And, speaking of settling, I used to be adamant about not dating men with children. But the reality is, and I've had friends, give me a reality check as well. The reality is that I'm not 22 and I'm 41. And so at this age, especially if I'm dating men within my age group, chances are that they're going to have kids. So I have had to be open in terms of, we talked about that specific criteria. I've had to be open about dating a man with kids. Now, it depends on how many kids they have and how many baby mamas are involved. I do pay attention to that because I don't necessarily want to deal with all these mothers, because when you are dating someone with children, there are other things that come with that, because not only are you balancing your time between that man and those children, but you also have to build relationships with those children. And depending on how the relationship is with the mothers, or if you're a man with the fathers, you have to build relationship with those people. That's a lot of time invested, and so you really have to make sure that that's the person that you want to be with if you're going to put in that type of time. No drama mamas. Yeah. Hey CJ. So yeah, I think it's important to think about that, and the balancing act of time. And it's like, oh, we can't do this because my kids, we can't do this because my kids. Okay, well, that's fine, but you're gonna have to make time for me too. And then there's dating apps, y'all. I think I've talked about this. These dating apps be stressing me out. I've had a horrible experience with dating apps, but I've also met people who have had a lot of luck with dating apps. People have got married and all this stuff, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm just not spending enough time, because I got back on Hinge last year, and I was like, okay, this is a disaster. I was on that thing for 6 days, and on the 7th day I deleted it. And I was like, this is traumatizing, because one, it was just some fraudulent people on there, and then two, it's just, I prefer to meet people in person. I think that the dating apps can work, especially if you're trying to explore people in other cities, but I just have not had the best luck. Anybody else can chime in, tell me what app you using, because I don't know. LCE said, and their ages, don't get with someone with small kids either, right? Because that's a long time before those kids are out of the house. I'm like, teenagers, please. But the other thing, too, with men who have children, my dilemma is that I want kids. So I'm thinking about, okay, are you a man, even though you have children, do you want more kids? So that's something that I also have to consider. And I tell my friends all the time, like, if you have kids, your dating experience is different than mine, because I'm looking for something, again, very specific. When you have kids and you don't want any more kids, you can date, you can move differently. And so it's very difficult when you are a woman who wants children and you're meeting men with children and they're like, nah, I got a vasectomy, or I don't want any more kids, or what. And I'm like, wow. So again, my scope gets very narrow. LC said, me too. I want something a little more organic. Nothing against the app. Same here. Prefer organic. Exactly. I prefer meeting people in person. But I don't know what it is, but going out to me has not been the same. I don't find that men approach me as much as they did pre-pandemic. I don't know if people's nerves are just shot. I know mine are, but I don't know if their nerves are shot, or if it's just that men are being approached by women now more often. So it's just a lot going on out here in these streets, and I'm just trying to navigate it along with you all, but I just don't feel like men approach me as often. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was like, well, you can put subtle hints out there. And I'm like, well, what's a subtle hint? Because I'm not just gonna walk up to a guy. You already have the culture of like the app Bumble, where they say the woman makes the first move. Well, I feel like that's just becoming the culture in reality too. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna make the first move. I'll give you some woo-woo eyes, or throw you a little flirtatious, body language or whatever, but I'm not just gonna shoot my shot with you. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like the culture is shifting in terms of women needing to approach the men. Let's see. Max said, has it not been the same because of the pandemic? I don't think it's been the same, because I think that people also are just not peopling like they used to, and their social skills have changed because of the pandemic and being locked down in the house. That changes people. I know for me as an introvert, like my anxiety was sky high after the pandemic, after lockdown, and my circumstances were also different, but you add a pandemic, you add, living out a trauma publicly, and then still having to deal with a trauma, during the pandemic, and you're not able to really have all these touch points with people. So that makes it difficult. And then in general, people were just struggling by being inside of the house. And then you go outside and people are like, we outside. Either people are just going wild or they're just not coming outside like they used to. Robin said, the men have a lot of options, it seems, so they are not approaching like they were. Exactly. I find that as well. CJ said, I think some people use the app as a crutch. Yes, I find that as well, CJ, like they're hiding behind something. And then I'm like, that 7-year-old picture, stop playing, because your hairline is back here. You need to stop playing. So, yeah, Elsie said, I find the same thing. I think women have spoiled men. I think they wait for women to approach them pre-pandemic. Yeah, and I'm finding that, and I've seen it, y'all, with my own eyes, women going up to men, and I'm like, wow. I mean, hey, do what you do, because clearly, because I'm still single, so maybe if I shoot my shot at somebody, maybe I wouldn't be single. But I'm more traditional in that sense, and I like to be courted by a man. But I heard this comedian say, Affion Crockett said, hoes are out here winning. So while y'all out here with your high dollar punanis, hoes are out here winning and they getting chose. But I'm just not. I don't think you have to be a hoe to approach a man. But I think women are definitely becoming more aggressive and assertive with men, and that's just not, I'm not there. I don't know if I'll be there. I want a more traditional situation. And so, yeah, my mom said, I think it's all the options. Yeah, they got all the options. So, yeah, so dating apps, I haven't had the best luck with dating apps. And then, again, trying to meet people out in public is really different. And, people are like, oh, grocery store, like going out to a sports bar. But I also notice if you are with a group of women, men also won't approach you. So it's either you have to be by yourself or one other person, maybe. It's just, I'm like, listen, what happened to the days where a man would just walk up for what he wants? Where you at? So, okay, let's see. Max said, oh, so you're an introvert. Do you think it will go back to where it's traditional? Yes, I am definitely an introvert, even though people don't believe that, but I'm definitely an introvert. I don't know. I think there are still men out there who are very traditional, and I think yes, there are subtle ways where you can let someone know that you're interested. Because listen, I get it. Men, I get it. No one likes rejection. You build up all your courage to go over and talk to a woman and she's like, yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you though. Nice meeting you. You know, I get it. No one wants to be rejected. So I guess the tables have turned in that way too. Like, listen, you want to talk to me, then you shoot your shot. So it's different out here in these streets, y'all. CJ said, prefer old school dating. Definitely feel old trying to keep up with the new era of dating. It's a lot, CJ, and that's what I'm saying. I'm like, is it me? Am I the drama? You know, in terms of dating, wanting someone to court me. Maybe I'm living in the Stone Age, and maybe I need to get with the new program. I don't know, but that's gonna take a lot. LC said, I don't know about that. I've been to Home Depot, Lowe's, sports bars, and nothing. Listen, I'm trying to build one on Amazon Prime. We'll see how that works out. And another one of my biggest challenges too is dating, because y'all heard me joke about the 30-day trial or the 14-day trial, and I'm telling you, this is a real thing. It is meeting men who are just not consistent, you know, and I'm like, there's consistency. Y'all heard last season Bishop Davis talk about this. If a man doesn't want to be consistent, run very far away, because nothing's going to change. He's showing you exactly who he is. And then you have men that don't want to put in the effort to cultivate something. It's like, listen, it ain't gonna happen in 2 weeks. Like, you have to get to know each other. It's not gonna happen overnight. It shouldn't be daunting. Like, if you were drawn to me in the first place, then keep it going. And you know, Bishop Davis was saying something about that too. Like, you can keep that first date feeling going, but it requires effort on both ends. But you have a lot of people who are with the new shiny toy syndrome, and it's like, once that shiny toy, you know, feeling wears off, then they're on to the next. And I think that doesn't have to be. Like, what are you actively doing to make sure that it's spicy, you know, keeping it going, continuing to date one another. I had a friend who was married at the time. He was married for like 13 years at that point. And I was like, how do you keep it so fresh? Like, he still looked at her like he was his girlfriend, you know, and still had that woo-woo in his eyes. And I was like, how do you keep it going? And he said, we date. We do activities together. We bond. We cook. We go out. And it doesn't always have to be spending a lot of money. He said, we date one another. I date my wife. I let her know that I love her. And I saw something that said, one of the things in a relationship that you need, and it's not about, like, communication is important, but it said you need to be kind. Sometimes we're just not kind. We want to, you know, put the daggers into each other and show one another who's the alpha this, who's the alpha that. And it's not that. We have to be kind to one another. And kindness goes a long way. When I read that, I was like, you know what? You're right. You're right. Where are you going, Gigi? Okay. But I was like, you know what? That's right. We have to be kind. And that goes a long way when you can treat each other, not with just spewing, you know, negativity to one another, but actually just taking a step back. And you know what? I don't want to fight. Let's talk about this. Let's be kind to one another. That goes a long way. It goes a long way in friendships too. Okay, let's see. So Max said, I don't know. I expect rejection, and I'm usually surprised when it goes well. Well, Max, you got to have more confidence, brother. You got to have more confidence in yourself. Instant gratification, what some people are looking for. Yes, absolutely. Respect. Yeah. So we have to be kind. And if you don't feel like that toy is not shiny, then you got to do some shining of it. All right. So, okay. So it's like, all right, y'all, what can we do? What is the solution to the problem? Now, I'm not saying that these are all the solutions, but these are some things that I came up with. All right. So one, you have to be happy with yourself before you can be happy with someone else. Because a lot of times we're seeking somebody else to validate us and to fill in the void, to be my peace. No, you need to be your own peace, okay? Because otherwise something is always going to be missing. We cannot expect someone to fill that void for us. And then two, heal before jumping into another situation. We want to fill that void of loneliness, and so we go jump into the next situation. That's not healthy. So heal, okay. And then Bishop Davis said this on the last episode of Sip with Joy last season. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch it. But he said to date with no expectations. And then also have fun. Instead of seeing dating as a chore or dreading it, have fun and don't have any expectations. Because, one of the things that stuck with me with what Bishop Davis said, he said, date with no expectations and don't put everything on the table right away. Have conversations and get to know each other, but don't try to see your future with a man or a woman in the first 30 minutes of meeting them. And we're guilty. Women, we know we're guilty, especially. Men, y'all guilty too, but you take a little more time than we do. Now, I have had men who are like saying, I love you in 3 days, 3 weeks, and I'm like, whoa, okay, pump the brakes. You don't even know me. Do you even know my middle name? So it's like, get to know one another. And I know I'm guilty because I'm a sap, y'all. I'm a hopeless romantic, and I'll be like, oh yeah, we can have cute babies. I see us vacationing and so yeah, we can plan something. Like, I'm guilty. I think anybody who wants love, especially at this age, is thinking about it futuristically. You're trying to have a long-term plan. You're not trying to be out here just floating. I certainly don't want that. So I think that we have to have fun. We have to not dread dating, because then we're bringing that energy into the process. So have fun, but also set boundaries and date with no expectations. And then 4, be honest and upfront about what you want and need in a partner, because then you can eliminate a whole lot of shenanigans with that. Okay, so what the sip, y'all. Speaking of dating over 40, have y'all heard of hospice husbands? And if you have not, just type in a hashtag on Instagram for hospice husbands. These are men who prey on women like myself. I'm 41. They prey on older women who they know want to be in a relationship, know they want to get married. They love bomb you to death and let's get married and real quick. And then you find out this man has all kind of ailments and he about to die. He about to croak on you any day now. He dies, and then you left with the medical bills. No, sir. So, ladies, listen, now we got to start collecting medical records and whatnot. It's just getting crazy out here. Don't leave me with your medical bills, sir. It's just getting crazy. All right. So LC said, I wonder if we treated our mates like we do our friends, would relationships be stronger? I think that's a good point, LC. I think we should. Again, you treat your friends with kindness, so why not? Why not? That is a good approach, because making friends is like dating anyway, so I think that's actually a good approach. Robin said, how do we date with no expectations and still be intentional? So I think what Bishop Davis was saying was just not going into it thinking that this is going to be my life partner. I think, like I said, you can spot the BS, and then whether you want to go forward with a person or not. So I think that's the intentional part. Okay, in conversation, you get to uncover what someone really wants. And then, because without you saying too much, you can see where their head is. I'm not going to put all my ducks, everything on the table, like he said, but you can see where somebody's head is. But let them do some talking instead of you putting it all out there. But I think that with being intentional, it's being just that. Okay, if someone has made it clear to you, because usually men will tell you exactly what they want. They will tell you, and sometimes we don't listen. We think we can, maybe he'll change his mind. No, he won't. Listen to when they say what they are, what they're gonna do, what they don't like, whatever, because it's a fact. So yeah, listen. What did Max? I've never heard of that. What kind of weirdos are out there? Wait, I missed something. I don't know. I missed something on that. Max said you're talking about the weirdos that I don't even remember what I said. But anyway, yeah, so thinking of just, you can ask questions but without giving too much information away. So again, it's like setting boundaries but not going all in, and listening. I think listening is a big part of it, in terms of being intentional. So yeah, the hospice husbands thing, y'all, that took me out. Yeah. Oh yes, the hospice husbands. Yes, there are people out here doing this, Max, just dropping dead and leaving these women with the medical bills and all that. I mean, they ain't even leaving a woman with insurance, life insurance money or anything. It's crazy. Yeah. Go and look up about, hashtag hospice husbands, and you will see videos pop up on that. So, okay, I'm going to open up the lines, y'all, because I want to hear what you got to say. 713-396-0277. Call me and talk to me about this topic, y'all, because I know y'all got something to say. But yeah, so this has been interesting. I think the advantage to dating over 40 is that, again, I think you're more clear about what you want and you have a certain level of maturity. So you're not with the shenanigans, and you should be able to spot BS a mile away. But I think a lot of the times we're in that benefit of the doubt stage and we're giving people too much credit instead of seeing them for who they really are. So yeah, when they show you, Maya Angelou said, when they show you, believe them the first time. If you start seeing red flags, trust me, those are going to get worse later. Okay, we got a caller. Hello? Uh-oh, wait a minute, y'all. See, I had it. Okay, hello? Wait a minute. Wait, I can't hear. See, this is what happens, y'all, when I test this out and now it's not working. Okay, hold on. Okay, hello? Now I can't hear. Y'all see what happens when I try to do this right? Okay, Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this old school way. Okay, go ahead. Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Mommy?
Yes.
Oh, are you going to talk?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I just wanted to say hello.
Yeah, I'm here. You got to turn down your TV or whatever you're watching the video on because it's an echo. Mommy.
Okay, is that better?
Well, there's an echo in the background, so you can hear me, I can hear you.
Muted it.
Okay.
I muted it.
Can you all hear her? Let me know if you can hear her in the chat, because I don't know what happened. And I had this fixed earlier, guys. I promise you I did. Okay, go ahead, Mommy.
What I wanted to say is I'm just glad that I don't have to deal with what you guys are going through in terms of dating.
Yes. It's ghetto out here. Yep. I can hear you.
Yeah, so I just feel for you guys because I remember when we dated, if somebody wanted to dance with you, they danced with you.
Right.
If
Right.
somebody wanted to take you out, they took you out. And you didn't have all these shenanigans in between. So I just feel very sorry for your dating peers because it's just very, very difficult. And
Yeah.
it's just not that difficult. If people care about you or they're interested, just be upfront and honest.
Just honest.
And I think that's what's lacking too.
I think so too.
Honestly.
Because my thing is, there's somebody that can match whatever you want. If somebody just wants a cuddle buddy, a travel companion, that can happen. You don't have to.
Yes.
You don't have to waste my time. So yeah, it is definitely, yeah, people are not being honest and they want to have their cake and eat it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that was my concern.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
You're welcome, babe. Bye.
Okay, see, my phone is playing me. I really did have this fixed. I really did have this fixed. So anyway, but yeah. So guys, I feel like there is still hope for us. And yes, shout out to the people that are married and don't have to deal with the shenanigans of these ghetto dating streets, because it's a lot. Max said, do I think that technology has made it difficult on the way dating is now? Absolutely. It has made it extremely difficult, because social media, you can put out a certain persona on social media that's not reality. And then also too, people can sneak around. I mean, well, people were sneaking around before, but now if something happens, it's amplified. They're putting your business out on social media. It's just gotten ugly. People have gotten really disrespectful. And I think, like I said, I think the biggest thing is people can create these personas, and they're just out here just, it's Instagram versus reality. And you meet people and you're like, wait, who are you? So yeah, I think technology definitely complicates things. And from a communication standpoint, people use these cell phones and they don't use their words. Now you can react. You can put in emojis, or you can react to something somebody said instead of actually using your words to respond to something. You can like it, or thumbs up, or thumbs down, or heart, emphasis with the quotation marks. People are not using their words, and so I think I definitely think technology is inhibiting our social and our communication skills, because people just don't talk like they used to. And it's like, I especially like on dating apps, it's messaging. I'm not about to message you for 7 days. You need to pick up the phone. You need to get to know me. And even with like long distance, especially, communication especially is critical. You have to get to know people. You can't go days without talking to each other if you're in a long distance situation and just texting and what have you. You have to get to know people. I had a conversation with someone, and I was like, how do you expect to get to know someone if you're not actually talking to them? How does that work exactly? But then you ready to sleep with somebody on the first date. I'm sorry. Like, how does 1 + 1 = 2 on that situation? Because I don't see it. Let's see. Elsie said, I think people have just gone wild. Ladies are no longer ladies, and some men are not gentlemen anymore. Elsie said, exactly. I'm texting. Right. An hour-long conversation. It's ridiculous. Pick up the phone, and it's like when you get on the phone, I don't like when, there are different dating situations I've been in. There's dating where there's the capacity for friendship, and then you have dating where it's very surface level. Dating when there's a capacity for friendship and you all are really talking and getting to know each other, that's a completely different situation, because I feel like that situation has more longevity and more potential. Whereas when you're keeping it very surface level, I'm like, I have no idea. We've been talking for 6 months and I still don't know anything about you. Like, it's just like people want to keep things so safe. They don't want to talk about the hard things. They don't want to ask hard questions. They just want to keep it status quo, because if I ask the wrong question, he might not like me or she might not like me anymore. Well, then that's not the person for you. Move on. But we have to have these conversations. We are grown, and we need to stop hiding behind technology and talk. Like, people used to write love letters. Y'all remember that? Little love letters. Drop a letter in the mail. We don't have that anymore. I shouldn't say anymore. There are some people who will still do that, but it's not the norm. You don't have love letters anymore. People will write you an email, pop up on your messenger, whatever. Little things. It's the little things that people don't realize make the biggest difference. It's not always about whining and dining. It's getting to know each other. Max says, with men not being gentlemen, do you think chivalry is non-existent? I think that's extreme to say it's non-existent. I don't think so. I still have men open my doors. I still have men pay for dates. I don't think chivalry is dead, but I definitely think there has been a shift in how men move and how women move. You know, I heard someone say, which this is a whole other episode about masculine energy and feminine energy, but he said something like boss chicks don't have feminine energy, and that's a lie. And I just don't agree with that. Like, I'm a whole woman. I am definitely in tune with my feminine energy, but yes, I'm a boss, you know, and I turn that on. I turn more masculine energy on in business, but that doesn't mean that I don't have feminine energy. So he was way off. And if you all remember Dr. Tart from last season, he did a video on that. So go to his page. LC said, or when conversations get too serious, it means we may be exclusive and people want to keep their options open. Yes. And then they start trying to find reasons to you know, get you out of there because it's just becoming too real. We are getting too close. Ooh, I'm starting to catch feelings, as they used to say. And then, yeah, they start just whole tripping on you. And I'm like, wait, how do we go from, you know, we making plans to we don't even have a conversation about it anymore. I don't even understand. It's like, I never seen that man before or that woman before. Like, what is happening out here? So yeah, it's CJ said people are lonely but don't want to invest time in getting to know each other. Exactly. And that's why I was saying earlier, like, people, they're not, the consistency just goes out the window real quick, and then there's no effort being put into these relationships anymore. And I'm like, how do we get back to putting in work? How do we get back to putting in work and not being so quick to just exit stage left? Like, obviously you were attracted to this person in the beginning. Now there's a difference between red flags and just wanting to just completely walk away just because you don't want to put in the work. But it's like, why don't we do that? You know, what is happening? Put in work to make it work. So yeah, I still believe that there's hope out here, guys. So keep hope alive. I still believe, and I tell people all the time, I meet good men. It's not that I don't meet good men. It's just that we are not aligned. And so I'm not settling, and therefore, you know, it doesn't work. And I'm at a stage in my life where if I'm in a relationship, we're going to be long-term partners. I'm not just getting in a relationship just so you can take me off the market, but for your own selfish reasons. I want to be in a relationship because at this age, then we're talking about being together long-term. I'm not going to be your girlfriend. I don't want to be a girlfriend. I want to be a wife. So that's my long-term plan. So I think that, you know, again, you have to be honest about what you want. And I think that, you know, not putting it all out there on the table, but also if you see the signs of someone who you know is not about that life, then that's where, you know, Robin was asking about intentions earlier. You know what you want from someone. And if someone asks you, you know, I'm intentional, you know, and I think that in itself says, without saying too much about what you want out of a person, what you want in terms of children or whatever the case may be, I think that tells them that you're serious. You know, and it's like, listen, don't come with that BS because I'm not about it, even though they do anyway, because they be ready to waste your time. What's considered settling for you? I think settling is being with anybody you don't want to be with when you know damn well that this person is not what you want. You know, that's the best way that I can explain it. But you feel like, oh, they look good on paper. They could be a good provider, but you know that maybe you're not attracted to that person. And you know, people say attraction can grow over time, but why force something that you don't want? I think it's trying to force, what do they say, a square peg into a round hole. Like, you're trying to force something because maybe you feel like I need to be in a relationship at this age. I should be married. I should have kids. All these things. When you know that's not what you want, you're forcing a situation. I feel like that's settling. Yeah, that's the best. That's the best way I can put it. Hey, Tiffany. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like this was. You guys had great comments. Thank you for that. So don't settle out here in these streets because there are people out there for you, but it's going to require a lot of patience and discernment. And, you know, I think I said this a long time ago. My therapist said to me, it's easy to meet people that you are misaligned with, and it's hard to meet people that you're aligned with. So it's a matter of, do you want to hold out for that person, or will you take, next best thing? That's up to you. So I'm holding out. I'm in a place where I'm very intentional, and so if it ain't working, on to the next. You can't force something that's not working. All right, good people. I love y'all. Shout out to season 4. We in this thing. So I'm going to have guests again this season. So stay tuned for that. And y'all send me questions, topics y'all want to hear about, because I just be running my mouth and y'all just be going with me. But let me know topics, because this is a community thing. So let me know what you want to hear about. DM on Sip with Joy, or y'all know my Instagram at joy_m_h. Send me a message or drop it in the chat here in the comments and let me know. But I will see you guys back here next week. Bye.